In this sewing tutorial, I'm going to show you how to sew a notion pouch. The front of my pouch is going to be cut from a jelly roll strip, and a jelly roll strip is generally 2.5 inches wide by the width of the fabric, which is 40 inches in width. If you don't have a jelly roll section, don't worry, because you can just cut it from your fabric or you can use any scrap pieces. I have this little piece of sparkle vinyl and it measures in at 3 inches by 2.25. For the front of our vinyl section of our notion pouch, I am just going to cut one piece that's going to go across the bottom of our vinyl section, and I am going to fold this into half. So basically this strip is going to be 4 inches by 2.5. And then for the side sections of our sewing notion pouch, we are going to have 2 side sections measuring at 2.25. And don't forget, the width of these pieces are going to be the 2.5 inches. This is the back of our sewing notion pouch, and it is 4 inches by 4 inches. And also I have a zip that is longer than the 4 inches. I find it easier to sew with a longer zip. So let's start with the zip of our notion pouch. So I am going to get a piece of fabric and I'm going to cut it 4 inches. We're going to fold it over like so, and we're going to press it, and I'm going to do another one of these 4 inches for our notion pouch. So this is a zipper for our notion pouch, and we're basically going to sew one on one side, one on the other side. I'm going to make sure that they're both parallel. So we're going to deal with one of them first, so it's just easier. So I am going to either pin or grip this into place, and we're going to move over to the sewing machine for the next stage of sewing our notion pouch. For this sewing tutorial, I'm going to use the piping foot. I like to use the piping foot whenever I sew on to a zipper. I'm going to be doing this sewing tutorial today on the Baby Lock Soprano, and I'm going to be using a straight stitch. We'll keep all these settings exactly how they are. I use a regular polyester cotton for our notion pouch, and in the needle here I'll use a 9014 Microtex needle and also have a white coloured bobbin. When sewing my notion pouch, I will go forward and I'll do a back stitch and then continue forward. And don't forget that we are sewing down the folded side, so our raw edges, these are our raw edges here on the other side, and we're just going to stitch this into place. And then when we come to the end of our notion pouch here, we are going to back stitch with our sewing machine. So I'm going to get ready here and backstitch. As we sew with our sewing machine, just make sure that we keep all of these tails all nice and tidy. Make sure that you line both these sides up so they are perfectly matched like so. And then sew down the other side of our notion pouch. At the bottom end of this pouch, I want you to fold it over like so, and then go over to your iron and press. So here we go, it's nice and pressed. It was about 1/4 inch. I have placed my regular foot back onto my sewing machine. I'm going to deal with the side sections first, and I am going to sew them on about 1/4 inch in onto this vinyl section. So it's 1/4 inch in, and I'm going to sew it on right along here. I'm going to turn it the other way around and sew it on so the vinyl actually isn't resting on the sewing machine. I've got the little piece on first down here, and I've put the vinyl on top 1/4 inch, and I'm going to sew down into place. And I'm doing the same thing on the other side. So the vinyl is actually resting on top of my fabric, and I'm going to back stitch and continue forward. This makes it easier and it stops that vinyl from sticking to your sewing machine. And just remember just to clean these tails up on your Notion pouch before you sew more. Now we're going to sew the bottom into place, and I am just going to line it. It is going to be a little bit longer like so, and don't worry about that. Just kind of go from the center of the vinyl and from the center of here, and then just line the two up. But this time make sure that you are sewing over the top of the vinyl, so you don't have these pieces of vinyl sticking out. This would be the wrong side, like this, and this is the right side. So we are going to sew all the way down here. Then remember how we turned this over before? We're going to line this up with what we did at the bottom here. So it's going to be lined up, and we're going to stitch it all the way across here. Now take the top of this pouch and line it up to where you want your pouch to be, because you need it to go over the top of the zipper, and you obviously want it to go just a little bit below the bottom here, like so, and line it all up. And then at this point, don't forget to unzip the zipper, and you are going to cut all the way around the excess of this pouch here. So all of this here, of this Notion pouch, will be cut. Now all that's left to do is, because we've pulled this zipper back, we don't need to worry about it being cut off. We sew all the way around. We don't need to leave an opening on our Notion pouch because we have the hole in the back and we don't have a lining. So sew all the way around your Notion pouch. I would just go around and just tidy these raw edges up and just make our Notion pouch nice and tidy. And this is our opening, so you can pull the zipper back of the Notion pouch and pull it right sides through. What I love about this sewing Notion pouch is that it does have this little window, so you can see exactly what you have inside of the pouch. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.